Hello, Matevs. My name is Patrick O'Dwyer. I am studying Masters in IT in Architecture, Engineering and Construction in UCC. My initial project proposal for your course in Computer Mediated Communications was to introduce forms of C.M.C into a company intranet. These forms of C.M.Cs were to introduce Google Docs, Dropbox and smartphones into a company intranet. This would allow the company employees, project managers, engineers and foremen to access documentation both on and off construction sites. The idea was to create a company intranet, which I did create on Google Sites. This will allow the employees to access Google Docs, Dropbox and information on smartphones. Google Docs will have a list of construction sites, active construction sites that PJ Hegarty's, who are the company I've chose to represent in this project, are working on, and employees will gain access to these documents via username and password, which they will be allocated once they begin work on the site. Only active construction sites that PJ Hegarty's are working on will be on Google Docs, but every documentation, including drawings, presentations, spreadsheets and project schedules, will be on Google Docs, and it will allow employees to use, edit, save and in real time, so there is no communication errors on site. The project that I'm doing has screenshots of all this, so it illustrates the point more. I can forward a presentation onto you that I've prepared if you would want me to. If you do want me to forward on the presentation, you can email me. It's not in as much detail as I have described, but the project describes the basic concept of what I'm trying to achieve. I have set up a company intranet which contains a link to Google Docs site, which will have a list of all the active construction sites in the country that PJ Hegarty is working on. The screenshot in the project and the presentation that I've prepared will also illustrate this. I also plan to incorporate Dropbox into the company website and into company smartphones, which I will also plan to introduce and train employees to use, so they can communicate on and off site, view files, drawings, documentation and project schedules. In order to implement this successfully into the company, employees will need to be trained and workshops will need to be organised on a regular basis until every employee has a basic knowledge of all the software that's being introduced. The reason I chose this approach to the project is because some Irish construction companies are still using very basic IT applications and software, and this was particularly the case with PJ Hegarty's when I was working with them recently. They have introduced some new software like Coins and Citrix and other forms, but there are still communication errors on site, and the IT services have been contacted a lot in order to solve the problem. It may not be the case now, since I haven't worked with the company for more than a year, but this would be my proposal to the company if it were still the case. Having researched the project so far, I have also come across security issues in relation to Google Docs and Dropbox, which I will also address during the course of the project. Security is an issue with Google Docs, as some of the documentation can be viewed by unauthorized users. To a certain extent it is a problem with Dropbox, but it has been addressed in recent months, as there have been articles about companies investing in Google Docs and Dropbox, so the reputation of them has improved immensely over the last 6 months or so. this is the end of my video presentation, Matthias. I hope it's what you were looking for. It's not something that I'm used to doing, but it's the best I can do given the timing. I hope I've given you enough information about the project. If I haven't given you enough information, you can contact me by email, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, thanks.